What is going on, guys? And I know it has been a very, very long time since I've uploaded. This past semester of mechanical engineering was really, really hard, but I came out with 1B plus being my lowest grade, so I'm happy to be back. I'm happy that is the summer. Cedar Point and Kings Island are both open as of now, and I do not have any initial plans to go there as of right now, but of course there will be at some point this summer. But in this video, I am counting down the top 4 hydraulic launch coasters in America, and I'm not counting Kenona just because it's not open yet. And to be honest, after looking at it, I feel like I would place this probably under every single one that I have on this list, which are the 4 in America that I've ridden. And that's just because I really do like this launch system. I would definitely say this is my favorite coaster type, even though there's only 4 of them. This launch system is just absolutely amazing. I really can just not explain how it feels. Like I can't explain how it feels. But I'm going to count down the top 4 hydraulic launch systems in America. And first, I'm going to start with a little bit of a story on how I got all 4 credits. All right, so obviously being from Ohio, the first hydraulic launch coaster I ever did was Top Thrill Dragster, and honestly, this is the reason I am a coaster enthusiast, and just the reason I looked up the system, because after I got off, I was like, what just happened? I have to know exactly how that worked. So that's a huge reason of why I'm an enthusiast, and why I started my channel. My old channel was Top Thrill Dragster, man. So obviously that was the first one that I did. Then the second one was my first coaster trip of all time, because I got honor roll in high school. I got my mom to take me to Six Flags Great Adventure to ride the world's tallest roller coaster, and that was King Dakar. And that was absolutely a blast. And then after that, we went to Hershey Park, where I got to do Storm Runner. And then twice, the first time I went to California, it was closed. I'll go a little bit more in depth about that when I talk about Accelerator. But the second time I was there, it wasn't closed, and I was actually able to do Accelerator, which, oh my goodness, I was so happy about that. You guys will see more in the video. So yeah, now let's get into my top 4 hydraulic launch coasters, how I rank all 4 of those. Alright, coming in at the number 4 spot, and by no means are these bad rides. Like I said, this is my favorite model, but it's going to be Storm Runner. And you guys are going to see maybe a little bit of a theme as we go on through this list as to why I rank them the way I do. But Storm Runner, we're going to start, of course, with the launch, and it definitely was the weakest of the 4 on this list. I remember waving to my sister on a bench during one of them, and that's not to say it was a bad launch. I love hydraulic launches, but this one definitely was the weakest. The top hat was fine. Unfortunately, the entire day I was there, they didn't open the back row, so I only got to do it from like the 2 in front of the back row. That's the only row I got to do it in, like furthest back, and then I got to do it in the front. Obviously, it was dead the day I went. And so, I got a few rides on it, and people say they like this one because it has a little bit of a layout, but for some reason, I prefer the top hat versions of this coaster model, because Storm Runner, I feel like it starts to have a layout and then it ends. But for the other ones, they have a big feature, and I feel like that's good enough. I don't know. I feel like my logic somebody says now that I'm saying it out loud, but for some reason, the fact that Storm Runner, starts to sort of develop a layout and then ends out of nowhere, whereas these other ones have a big element or accelerator you're going to see, has a big top hat, and then the wind just is in your face the rest of the ride. That's why I think this one is just my least favorite, because the launch was the weakest, and then I don't know. It's not a bad ride at all. I absolutely love this ride, and this was my number 1 at one point. I like this about Dragster. These all have switched at some point in time, but I definitely think as of right now, this deserves to be the number 4 hydraulic launch. Alright, coming in at the number 3 spot, and I'm sorry about any of these mess ups in these live comms. I feel like a rookie, and I hate that, but it's just been so long since I've done these. But I'm glad I'm back anyways. But the number 3 spot is going to be King Dakar. And this one, the world's tallest coaster. I was so excited to do this. This was actually the first coaster of my season when I did. I was absolutely terrified, and unfortunately I only got 1 ride on it, because it was down for maintenance a lot of the day, and then there was just a security guard blocking it with like 15 minutes to close for people to come in, and even though it was testing with people about to go on it, he said it was closed for the night. So fortunately I couldn't get any other rides, but I think I was like in the 2nd row, so it was smooth. I definitely want to try to get a back row to see how rough it is, like people say, because I've had a not smooth ride on Dragster at some point in time. and I definitely want to try to get a front row, which, you know, is as amazing as everybody says. But, you know, it was definitely a great ride. I definitely think it deserves a number 3 spot. The launch was good. Some people say it's in pulses. I do not remember that, to be honest. I do remember liking this launch, though. It's just, I definitely like the Strata launches because of their length. Like, I think that is the perfect length for a launch. You are literally sitting there speechless. It is such an intense 3.5 seconds. So that's why I think this is the number 3 spot. Just because, you know, you're going to see why I like the number 2 spot. I don't mind the restraints as much as people say, but the color scheme and the placement of this ride definitely do hurt it. You can't get as many shots of it as you like, as I'm sure I'm probably rambling right now and am having to use the same shots over and over again. I do like the drop tower, and apparently they just announced that these can run together. But this has the number 3 spot because I didn't get any airtime on that hill, so, you know, that doesn't do anything for me. And just the theming on this, I don't think is better to help push this thing any higher. Alright, so no more rambling about Ka, because it's been so long since I've ridden that, and I definitely do need to get another ride in on it. But even after I did it again, I think it would be the number 3 spot. But the number 2 spot is Top Thrill Dragster, and this is my favorite coaster still. This was my number 1 for so many years. This ride is absolutely insane. This is my favorite hydraulic launch, just because even though Accelerators is more snappy, this launch is the perfect length. You just go from 0 to 120 so fast, and I will just never forget my first ride on this, how scared I was in that takeoff. And this launch is just unforgettable. There are no words to describe it, no words to describe any of these, but this one, I feel like the theming, and people say this ride doesn't have theming, but I will argue against it any day. I will never forget every time I walk past Corkscrew and I hear that engine rumbling and then I hear it go off, I just feel my heart drop to my stomach because I know that I'm walking up to this insane ride. Like, even when I go and see it for the first time in the season, I'm still a little scared. But it's just so unforgettable, just sitting there, hearing the engine, sitting right there, looking at the tower with the lights on, and then also that Christmas tree with the lights on, and knowing everybody throughout the park is going to see you blast up and over this 420-foot hill. It's such an amazing package ride, and I will never get tired of it. Just walking through the queue and hearing the sounds and just how fast the launch and the hydraulics with it, and just like I said, this is what made me an enthusiast. I did so much research into this launch just because I had to know exactly how it worked, and it still blows my mind. It doesn't bother me that it's a short ride, and honestly, now the more that I think about it, that 270-degree twist, the fact they decided to go with that is so cool. So I really, really love this ride, and I definitely think this comes in at my second favorite Intamin hydraulic launch, and I am prepared to say that I might come off this, and if I ride it this year, I'm prepared to come off this and say that this is my favorite, just because I've loved this ride so much. But, you know, that could happen. But if that happens, I know that I'm gonna say it's tied with Accelerator, because that just means that, you know, if I flew to California and I rode Accelerator, I'd be like, oh, this is my favorite. Then I flew back to Ohio and did Dragster, I'd be like, this is my favorite, you know. So that just means that they're equal to me. And then coming in at the number 1 hydraulic launch, and you guys, especially if you've been enthusiasts for long enough, you know emotions can play into this, but just look at how difficult and how blessed I was to be able to get this credit.
So there's no way I was coming all the way out to California not doing a hydraulic launch. Luckily for me, Knott's Berry Farm is only 4.8 miles from my hotel, so that's where we are now. People were telling me rumors about Accelerator being closed. That'd be a downer, but I'm still going to get on Ghost Striker, Pony Express, Silver Bullet, so we'll see how those stack up against their competitors in the same class. Rumor is Accelerator is closed. That's going to be a bummer. It was literally on my top 5 rides I'm looking forward to for California. It's going to be like the biggest bummer of this trip, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do besides hop the fence and fix it, which I'm just too lazy to do right now. It's hot. Oh well, I can at least say that I've seen it. Dang, that's really a bummer. You know, me and my hydraulic launches. Oh boy. Well, Silver Bullet it is, I guess.
What is going on, guys? I am so excited right now because I am able to break my off-season blues from being, you know, in Ohio. That is right. I'm in California right now for my job, and we are not going to Six Flags, even though they have West Coast racers. But I'm still very heartbroken. The last and only other time I was in California, Accelerator was closed while I was at Knott's Berry Farm. So was Montezuma's Revenge, but you know, Accelerator definitely hurt a little bit more. I need to shave. But anyways, so we are going to Knott's Berry Farm to do Accelerator. I'll also get the... Oh my gosh, guys, I haven't seen it run, but it's open. I'm in the queue. Oh, no way. What am I pointing at? There it goes, my first time seeing this ride run ever. And I'm in the queue right now. I am so excited. I cannot believe it, guys. I'm here to ride this, and that's an empty train. There's one person in it. Let's get a front row ride on this. I'm so excited. I don't know if I should go, which end to go on these, but oh my goodness, let me hurry up. This is by far the most emotional coaster moment in my history of being an enthusiast. I finally have gotten on it. It was closed the first time. I'm actually in California 2 years later. Absolutely crazy. That was amazing. So yeah, that was my difficulty, and that is why, you know, the first time I got off of it, that was so emotional. But other than that, we're going to go to the actual ride. And the fact of the matter is that this is the most snappy hydraulic launch that there is, and that makes this my second favorite behind Dragster, because I do like Dragster's length. You know, Dragster is a straight shot, a straight acceleration, and just because it goes faster, you know, that straight acceleration and the longer launch puts it above it for me. But Accelerator's initial snap, you know, that just says what these launches can do. You know, seeing the videos where they tested close to Dragster speeds on this launch, you know, that the launch track is not that long. It's already incredibly snappy, so, you know, I can't believe that. But after the launch, you know, the top hat is great. You do get a little bit of airtime going over the top, you know, some in the front and some in the back. But what amazed me after that is the amount of wind you get on the launch, and then you get it at the bottom of the hill, but that carries throughout the two overbanks afterwards. So it's really like an intense ride, and I didn't get anything like it until I rode Orion, you know, because COVID happened. But I did go to Kings Island later on the day, but I didn't get that much wind in my face till I did Orion, and that gave me more. But you know, it carries through the overbanks, and how I would describe these overbanks are like the intense ones on Millennium Force. I'd say it's a mixture of like the very, very last one, which just flies through it, and then the, you know, the, not the first one, not the second one, but the third overbank. I say it's a mixture of those two, and they are just very, very intense and snappy elements, and the wind is in your face the entire time because you absolutely zip through those. So I feel like Accelerator is actually the perfect length for an Intamin hydraulic launch. I said Stormwater, you know, tries to do a layout and then does like some inversions and some things like that, and then ends, and I feel like it doesn't do it right. Dragster and Kai, you know, they are one element wonders, but I do think they're great elements, and I don't have a problem that it ends after that, like I do with Stormwater developing a layout and then ending, you know, cut short. But then Accelerator has the one element, and then, you know, not like Kaw's Hill, it has two elements after that where it carries out its speed just a little bit more and has the wind in your face, and it's just absolutely amazing. Does it need a repaint? I honestly don't care that it's pink, you know, just because I never saw it when it was red. And I liked Dragster's faded red now that this is really, really faded. But yeah, I definitely think this deserves to be the number one. You know, this really surprised me when I was at Knott's. Ghost Rider was great too, but this is like my number 5 coaster right now, I believe. And I've been on, I want to say about 100. I don't keep count, but I've been to a lot of parks at this point, and I'm not gonna list, and I don't feel like arguing. But Accelerator is the number one. You know, hopefully they build more of these in the United States, but I am going to end it there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I do have lots of pictures that I've taken of this coaster, even though I'm not posting on that as much. But if you do want to follow my Instagram, it's at TAYT_INSTA. But I will be sure to see you guys in the next video. I'm going to try to roll more of these out. I want to go back into some more Planet Coaster console stuff, but be sure to go back and look. I did a lot of building in there before these. But let me know you guys' comments on these hydraulic launches, and I'll see you in the next video.